Hello everyone, welcome to Naomi's Bookshelf. Welcome to a round of TBR Clue. So I have had a very exhausting 2 weeks and I'm going to be sitting in a chair for this video. And I normally like to film higher up so you don't see like my empty shelf that I still need to reorganize, but what can you do? So on top of being super tired from a bunch of things, I forgot to write down the order of my prompts. I have them all here in like paper form, so I know what prompts I had. I just don't remember what rooms they were for. So I'm gonna just tell you what I've read for each prompt, and I'll just grab 2 cards and whatever cards I can't reveal because of whatever reason, that'll be it. Let's just get started with the first one, which is a new book. The first prompt I pull out of the pile is a new book. I read that one, and I read They Do It With Mirrors, so I'm revealing with that the ballroom and the wrench. For the next one of the candlestick, I read Pen Tamar, like I said, so I'm revealing Professor Plum and the revolver. For a novella, I have read one Agatha Christie short story, but I'm going to make it a priority to read a novella. I have 2 days left, 3 days left, and I definitely can get that done. So I'm revealing Mrs. Peacock and The Study with this. And if I don't, I'll just not give myself the reward. For a most recent haul, I actually picked a book that was in my most recent library haul, which was like new to you. It's about finding vintage clothing. So I'm revealing Dining Room and Dr. Orchid. I definitely tweaked it, but that was my reality this month. For a book written in the 1900s, I read Pretense by Lori Wick, which was written in 1998. So just barely made it, but it's there. It was published that year, or that decade. Century. Dagger and Billiards Room are revealed. For Dr. Orchid or Mrs. White, I read Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. I did read it. So I am revealing The Conservatory and the Kitchen. For a color wheel, I have to read a book with the purple on the cover. I have not read it yet, and I am going to make that a top priority for tonight. So I'm going to reveal this, but if it's not read, then I will not get my reward. So that's The Rope and the Candlestick. So for a book club book, I did read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, so I am revealing Library and Mr. Green. For the last one, which was, I guess this was the first book I pulled, I remember that. Animal in the Title or as main character, I read Never Say Pig, which, why am I pointing here? I read Never Say Pig, which I talked about in Word of the Day challenge that I read a book every day for the word of the day. Yeah, very simple, quick book to read, has pig in the title. Miss Scarlet and the Lounge are revealed. So I'm going to look at the cards and see what is the final answer. So the official answer for this is Colonel Mustard in the hall with the lead pipe. I'm a little frazzled. I should not be filming, but I am. The hall, we know this is right. We've revealed all the rooms. Colonel Mustard and the lead pipe. So I already did a spinner wheel because I need something to work towards in the last few days of the month, and that would be this. So I got Reread, which is fantastic because for the Legendary Readathon, which I am a co-host of, we are reading Vampire, which I have read before. So this will be a perfect reread option, and Twilight, which I have not read before, but Vampire would work. So if I do finish the other 2 prompts, I'll read a novella and read a purple book, and then we will be square, I promise. And if not, I just won't get the reread as an option for my board. So for August, I'm doing the Legendary Readathon. I am thinking this is also my month to catch up on arc reading. I'm gonna do a bunch of arcs. I don't know if there's like an arc August or something. I didn't look into that, but if there is, I'm doing that because I am a little bit behind, and I also requested a bunch of arcs, which was great and not smart of me at the same time because now I'm behind. But I have a bunch of arcs I'd like to read. A lot of them are like nonfiction and some like sappy romances. Well, I'm hoping sappy. That's what I'm in the mood for. And yeah, we'll see. We have the Bleak House read along that's still happening, which I'm not a fan of, but we'll keep going. So yeah, there's a few things, but mostly I'm just needing to catch up on arcs, read legends and retelling, the origin stories, retellings, and hopefully get to a couple, big books I've been meaning to for a while, but just haven't prioritized. So I'd like to get to some priority books that aren't on my priority list, essentially. first prompt will be a book with illustrations. So for the very first prompt, we got illustrations right there in case it wasn't clear before. So illustrations. I am going with the very first time I've ever read it this way. I'm going to be reading the Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone illustrated book. I have bought all of them, and I have never read the illustrated ones, which it seems like such a shame as they're so beautifully done, but I've never actually read them. So I will be putting this on for illustrations. I think that works out perfectly. So that's one easily done. Lounge for the second book is the word of the day. The next one, which happens to be word of the day. And the reason why I laughed is because I made a whole vlog doing a book a day based on whatever the word was. So yeah, it was kind of funny to pull that. Anyways, the word of the day is beguile. So I'm going to be picking up Femme Fatale by Guy de Maupassant. I do not speak French. I am very, very sorry. This is a little collection of, I think, 3 stories, 4 by this author from the 1800s to, 1850 to 1893 is when he lived. So I'm interested to read this one. This is also going to go for my Legendary Readathon, as it is, I don't know if it's an origin story for the Femme Fatale line, but I am interested to read a very classic book of that realm, I guess. So yeah, this will be for Beguile. Third, for the dining room, is a book box book. Next was a book that I got in a book box. So I will be reading Brinsley's Dream by Petronella Brenberg. I believe I got this in the Peter Pan bookishly box. I am not sure. It is a kid's story and it does have illustrations too. I feel like it's going to talk a lot about racism and baseball. I am not sure how old this is, but it is definitely an older children's book. So I'm hopeful that it will be good and, talking about these things. So you never know when it comes to classics, but I hope this one's it kind of looks like it will be a good book. But I don't know anything else aside from throwing baseballs and a boy of color on the thing, and it looks like it. So I'm interested to go into it pretty blind, and this will be fun. That's a book box book. Fourth, for the kitchen, is a book about the hallway. Next is a book that represented the hallway. Now, I don't really like this prompt. Honestly, I know it's great, but I just don't like it. It's so hard to find books for the hallway. But I picked one that has a house on the cover, and it's a book that I have been needing to get to for a while. So it's kind of like a gateway to the end of my Agatha Christie journey. I'll happily restart that journey, but it's almost the end of that reading list anyways. It's Elephants Can Remember by Agatha Christie. This is the one that I need to read for the Read Christie 2023 prompt, which is Falling Down, or a murder that happens by falling. I'm not sure what it is, or jumping off of something. Whatever the description is, that's what kind of murder has to happen in here. And this is one of the few books that does happen. So I haven't read this one yet, but I'm excited to. And I am interested to see how it goes. You can see a house there with a front door. So they have a hallway, and we're going to go with that. I have started that one, but I don't remember anything. So I'm going to start from scratch with no knowledge, which is the best way. Next one. The Ballroom, number 5, is a random letter for the title. So I got the random letter for the title, and that one got to be this letter, which is a T. Now for T, I'm going to go with one of the group reads for Legendary Readathon, which is Twilight. It worked too perfectly to not do it. So Twilight fits in here. I am very excited to finally get to Twilight. I've heard so many things. I've heard it's so cringy, but so addictive. I've heard a lot. So I am excited to pick this one up and read it for myself. Let me know if I should do a Twilight reading vlog of my reactions and whatever else. I can do that. I'd also cannot put in the time and effort if it's not of interest, but I'm excited to pick up Twilight for the first time and see if it is something I want to continue reading, because I have owned this book for ages and it's about time it gets read. Conservatory number 6 is a book about the dining room. Next up was the dining room. So the dining room was a little interesting. I was trying to find something that worked because I didn't have any books with recipes I wanted to read right now, but I found a book that takes place at a table, and this is my Agatha Christie book for July. I haven't read it yet, and I don't think I'm going to get to it. So this is A Murder in 3 Acts, and this is about a murder that happens around a dining room table, and it happens 2 times around the same table, around the same group of people who's sitting at the table, and Poirot's trying to figure this out. So I figured it works. It's also, there's kind of a table on this cover, so yeah, it's gonna be my dining room book. For the billiards room, number 7, we have a mood read. For a mood read, I am going to be reading Malibu Burning by Lee Goldberg. I have this as an ARC, and I have been waiting to read it. I've been holding myself off until like the month before it comes out. So this is one of the ARCs I need to get to in August. I have, I think, like 7 ARCs I need to get to in August, but one of them is Malibu Burning, and I will not slack on that. I am so excited to read it. I don't know anything. I know it's not in the Eve Ronan series, but it's about some sort of detective, and I honestly don't care. I'm just excited to read it and pick it up. So I'm going to be reading Malibu Burning and hopefully writing my review very quickly, and I am so excited to pick that up. For the library, with number 8, we have The Knife. The prompt of Knife, I will be reading Under the Knife by Kelly Parson. I have owned this book for a very long time, and I don't know what it's about, but I can't let go of it till I try it. I need to read it, or need to at least attempt reading it before I get rid of it. So this like subtitle here says, "Doctors make mistakes, some can be murder." And I think, remember from the back, this guy, his wife dies on the operating table, and he is seeking revenge against the doctor who she died on, like who she died during the surgery. It could have been murder, it could have been an accident, but he is going to get revenge. So this is one that I think will be really interesting to read. And for the last room, the study, we got more than 500 pages. The last prompt is over 500 pages. Now for that one, I'm gonna try to knock this one out all in August. The way we have our reading schedule set up for Bleak House is to have 100 pages for the last 2 weeks, and then the last section can be whatever to catch up time. So I'm gonna hopefully finish this all in August. I am not very far in. I think I'm about this much in now. I have to change my bookmark, but I'm just not loving it, and that's okay. I know a lot of people are, but I'm not one of those people right now. So I'm gonna keep pushing on. The live shows are scheduled, so I feel like I have a duty to finish it. And on top of that, it's not gonna be something it's gonna be an accomplishment, is what I'm trying to say. It's gonna be an accomplishment to read this, especially since I'm not loving it, and I don't find myself pushing through with a lot of books lately. So I'm hopeful that this will change my opinion of it. So this will be my next one for at least 500 pages or more. So in regards to other books, I have Femme Fatale on my TBR, so I figured let me grab one of my Femme Fatale books and have that as another retelling I'm gonna read for Legendary Readathon. So I'm gonna be reading Marnie. Now this one I have started, and I remember a good amount of it. I just never got into it. Like, I never kept going. I think I was in a reading slump when I picked it up, and I have kept this around for a year or two after starting it because I know I want to finish it, or at least read more. So this one will be on my TBR. It's just not on my TBR Clue, as this is going to be hopefully a retelling of the Femme Fatale storyline or character arc, or whatever you want to call it. I'm excited to pick this one up for that reason. I did mention earlier that I would be reading Vampire, so that one will be on my TBR as well. I can't pronounce the author's name right now, and I am just blanking. So Vampire. I'm excited to pick this one up again and read it quickly. It's a very short book, and I recommend checking it out if you're at all interested in the origin stories of vampires. So that's something worth noting. So for my other reading challenges, for Buzzwordathon, I'll be reading Voice of the Ancient by Connellan Cosette. This one is an arc I have as well. It comes out August 14th, I believe. So it's coming up pretty soon, and I need to get to it, and I really want to get to it. So Voice of the Ancients. Voice is maybe not a body part, but it comes from a body part. I'm gonna go with that. I also have another arc, which is like, what's it called? Honey, like Bones, which I could read as well. And I do need to read that very soon. So that also works for a body part in the title. For a true crime book, for the Golden Girls reading challenge, I'm gonna be reading, let me see, All Is Not Forgiven. Yeah, All Is Not Forgiven. I believe it's forgiven, if not forgotten. And this one is by Jo Kenda, who is the like ID detective. This is a really short book that comes out in July. So I was hoping to get to it before, and if not, like if I get to it before, I will just pick something else. But this is a true crime story that he has talking about his crimes that he's worked on or whatever. I'm not sure, but I picked it up because I love watching ID channel, and you know, he's so engaging on the TV. So I had to pick up his book. So that's an arc that I have. And then the last one is the Book Covered Book Club, which has shapes on the cover. For this one, I have the arc Pixels and Paint. I don't remember the author, but you can see on here is like a blob, and it's kind of like abstract shapes is the prompt. So that's kind of counting for it. I think it's a romance about an artist and someone else. I don't remember who's the artist and what the other role is, but I'm excited to pick it up. It is, like I said, an arc that I need to get to, so that'll be on my top priority list. I think I have like 13 arcs I need to get to be perfectly frank. But I am gonna do my best to get to them and read them in a timely manner and prioritize a lot of August with arcs. So on top of the other pile and my retellings and everything else. So it's gonna be a good time. I'm really excited, actually. I was sitting here trying to make my TBR and I started to get excited. So that's always a good sign. So that will be the end of this TBR Clue. Please leave a comment down below if you have read any of these books or if you're reading for Legendary Readathon. Just what kind of legends are you interested in reading, or the retellings that you're interested in reading? I'd love to know. Also, please give this video a like if you enjoyed it and subscribe if you are new here, and hit that notification bell before you head out. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.
In a house that I don't know,